Ladies and gentlemen, great to see you today and welcome to our very special Solos Travel Show, Travelling Solo with Wendy Wu Tours. Yes, you are going to find out lots of information today, all there is to know about travelling solo with Wendy Wu Tours. We're going to be taking you on a virtual tour of Japan. Yes, you're going to see lots of Japan. Plus, we're going to be speaking to some of our very special VIP solo travelers as well. So lots to cover. Stay tuned. It's a very exciting show. And to kick things off, I'm joined by Kate Rowe. Kate is Head of Sales and Reservations and Operations here at Wendy Wu Tours. Kate, it is fantastic to see you.
Good to be here, Andy. Thank you.
Great. Now, Kate, you and your team, you handle all the calls and inquiries coming through from customers wanting to book. And I can imagine that's getting very busy now that travel is well and truly back on the agenda. So are we seeing increased demand for solo travel?
Yeah, you're right, Andy. So almost all of the borders are open now for international travel, and most of our tours are operating almost as normal. So the calls have been really busy. We're seeing lots of inquiries in from people who are desperate to travel. And you're right that we are seeing more demand from solo travellers. In fact, this year, about 30% of all the inquiries that we've had have been from solo travellers. And Andy, I think it's just because people have had a long few years of not being able to travel, and they just want to seize the day and get out and explore the world. And perhaps those little niggles that put them off in the past, waiting for a friend to travel with them or a family member to be available to help them plan the trip, those are things of the past. People are just so desperate to get out there, they really do just want to explore and book something.
Very true, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, time is of the essence. Definitely time to travel now. Now, Kate, the tours with Wendy Wu Tours, they are fully inclusive tours. So tell us, what exactly does that mean, and why is fully inclusive so important for solo travellers?
So you're right, Andy, all the tours are fully inclusive, and that means that everything is included. We've arranged everything for you. So from the moment that you arrive at the airport, you're going to be met and you're going to be taken to your hotel. And then during the trip, you're going to have all your meals included, and our guys have researched to find the best restaurants where you can try the best local specialities. You're going to have all your hotels included. You're also going to have all of your activities and sightseeing included along the way. And we like to pack our itineraries full of experiences. So it might be that you join a local cookery class or an art lesson, or get involved with a local cultural event. And I think when you're travelling on your own, it's even more valuable to have that taken care of so that you can just relax and enjoy your trip. You're literally going to wake up in the morning, go downstairs to breakfast, and you're going to have your tour guide there and a group of friends to travel with, and you really can just relax and make the most of your holiday.
Oh, sounds amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, doesn't that sound so easy? I love it. Now, Kate, Wendy Wu Tours, they have a fantastic record of organising some of the best touring experiences on the planet for nearly 25 years, ladies and gentlemen. Plus, of course, multi-award winning, having won the Globe Travel Awards, the prestigious Travel Awards, for the last 12 consecutive years, which is pretty amazing. So, Kate, why is that reputation so important for solo travellers?
Well, we're really proud of our awards because they do show that consistency, that to win 12 years in a row really shows that our tours are fantastic itineraries, but also that we do take really good care of our customers, that we do deliver fantastic customer service, and that we've done that. And I think for solo travellers in particular, it's really important to be travelling with a company that's got a great reputation, that you can trust, and it gives you that extra peace of mind, not just for you, but for perhaps your friends and family back home who want to know that you're being taken care of while you're on your travels.
So Kate, a very, very exciting time in travel now. Everything is reopening. We've seen Vietnam has recently reopened. And the big news, yes, the big news, the one we've all been waiting for, ladies and gentlemen, It's about time, but yes, Japan is now finally open again. Kate, very, very exciting. So, you know, with all of this in mind and with Japan open, does this mean we can get back to Japan now?
Absolutely, you're right. It's been a long, long wait, and we're so pleased that Japan has finally reopened its borders to international tourists. That just happened last week, and there are still some restrictions in place. So one really important thing to bear in mind is that Japan is only open for tourists who are travelling on fully escorted tours. So you wouldn't be able to just go to Japan right now on a plane. You need to be travelling with a group, with a guide. But the great news is that all of our Wendy Wu tours to Japan do meet those requirements. And of course, we'll be able to help you navigate the other restrictions that are in place and make sure that you've got everything you need to be allowed to enter Japan. We've seen huge demand ever since the announcement was made that Japan was finally opening. The phones went crazy, and Japan obviously always very popular for cherry blossom season, which, you know, we've talked about on these shows before. Cherry blossom for 2023 did sell out, but we've been working really closely with our local partners in Japan to put on more tours for cherry blossom. So please do give us a call if you're looking to travel. And if you want to travel even sooner than that, we've also got spaces available on our Japan tours from this September. And that will get you there in time to see the spectacular Autumn Leaves Festival.
Fantastic. Okay, so yes, ladies and gentlemen, big news, Japan open again. Let's get that. I know I'm super excited to get over to Japan as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kate. Great to see you.
Thanks for having me.
I have loved every minute of it. I decided I was going to see the world, and this is the place to see. If you go on one of these tours, you make some great friends.
Since the beginning of the tour to now, it's been absolutely fantastic, well organised. The itinerary has just been excellent. Couldn't have asked for more. And everyone on the group has got on so well. We really gelled together and it was fantastic. And Ken, the guide, has been amazing.
We've had great hotels, a wonderful guide with Ken. It's a really good group. I'm a solo traveller and I usually look for solo travel specialists, but I got in with this group and we've meshed really nicely. We've had a wonderful time. The food has been tremendous and I've enjoyed every minute. Everything has been thought of, everything has been considered. We've not had to think. For 9 days, all we've had to do is be where we're told to be at a certain time. And then we're taken away and shown the most wonderful thing.
Yeah, totally brilliant. We've delivered more than my expectations. Ken, our national tour guide, nothing has been too much trouble for him. So well organised by Wendy Wu. Brilliant tour, thoroughly recommended.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm now joined by Glenn Thomas, Head of Specialist Sales at Wendy Wu Tours. Glenn, great to see you today on our Solos Travel Show.
Thank you.
Wonderful. So Glenn, solo traveler, let's dive a little bit deeper into this. Now, there are a few options when it comes to traveling solo with Wendy Wu Tours. You can travel on a solo exclusive holiday, or you can travel solo on a regular Wendy Wu Tours tour. For our ladies and gentlemen out there, what's the difference between these two styles?
Okay, well, two very distinct differences in this one. And what we did was actually a lot of research with you, our customers, to see what you preferred. And it was very much split between I want to travel with fellow solo travelers, or I want to travel with a group of like-minded people. So we felt that there was a need for choice there. So what we did is we developed a range of tours over our whole program, which are dedicated to solo travelers only. I think it's worth pointing out here that just because it's a solo traveler doesn't mean they're all single people. We have all sorts of people going on holiday, from people that are married in a relationship or solo by choice, but they choose to travel on their holiday on their own for whatever reason. And a number of them want to travel with other like-minded solo people. So there was definitely a market for it. But likewise, as we look after solo passengers throughout our programme, we have a full programme which solo travellers can also travel on. So it's very much about choice, and the choice is given to the customer.
Really interesting. We talked a lot about solo travelling today, but I know you've travelled a lot as a solo traveller yourself. Yeah. What can we expect when travelling solo with Wendy Wu Tours?
Again, it's a full-on experience with Wendy Wu Tours. So everything that you'd expect on a general group tour will be the same on a solo tour. It's just the choice and difference of travelling with either solo travellers or with a group of twins, doubles, etc. But it's actually the full tour programme. Difference being on a solo exclusive tour, you have some added benefits. So you get transport to and from the airport, you get a free airport lounge, you also get free drinks reception, so it's very much keeping everyone together and inclusive. But if you want to travel as a group on a normal standard group tour, you can.
So there's lots in there, definitely. Now, Glenn, something I've always wondered about with travelling solo is when it comes to eating, dining. You know, we all, ladies and gentlemen, we love our dining experiences. It's what makes the holiday.
Absolutely.
But as a solo traveller, am I going to be stuck? Am I going to be left to myself to find somewhere to eat?
Yeah.
You know, how does it work?
That's a really good question. And I always think back to when I'm working away from home and it's time to eat and I have to find a restaurant. I'm on my own. I feel very conscious of that fact, and it's not enjoyable. And I think if you join one of our tours, those meals you eat as a group with your guide, and somewhere like I'm going to use Japan as an example again, where there's a big language barrier. English is not well spoken whilst you're in Japan. Your guide will talk you through the whole process. You're there as a group. It's very much part of your holiday. So no, it's all about the inclusiveness of it, and you've always got someone there. So if you want to dine alone, obviously you can. That's totally your choice. But the option is going to be there for you to dine as a group.
Something that I know is very important to our ladies and gentlemen out there who are watching is the group size, Glenn. What size are the groups, and are they the same? Is the group size the same on a solo exclusive tour as it is on a regular Wendy Wu Tours tour?
No, there is a maximum on a solo group tour of 18. So we like to keep the tours fairly small. And one of the reasons for this, and I'll be totally honest, I was on holiday in India. And I met a group of solo travellers who were travelling part of a group of about 40 passengers, and they were saying it was dreadful. They were not having an experience, they were feeling left out, feeling left behind, and I knew then that if we were going to do this properly, we would have to do something where the group sizes are smaller so that everybody on that trip experiences a proper Wendy Wu tour. So a solo passenger holiday will be a maximum of 18, but even on a normal tour, we only go to the low 20s. So you can expect on a Wendy Wu tour not to have hordes and crowds of people. It will be small and concise.
That's a very good number, actually, isn't it? Again, you know, something that's important for solo travellers is the kind of mix on tour. So, you know, our solo exclusive tours, are they mixed tours? And what about the regular Wendy Wu Tours tours? And also, Glenn, really important question, which I know is hot with our viewers. Are we guaranteed our own room?
Yeah, that's always a question that comes up. The tours or solo tours based on male-female is usually about 60-40 in favour of the female sex. And sort of a similar one, and really on the group tours. So there is, you know, there's a nice mix there. And as I say, it's a mixture of people, a mixture of their own personal circumstances to whatever they're doing travelling on a solo experience. And of course, yes, they do get their own room. On a solo exclusive tour, there is one price, and that's the price they pay. Everything is included in there, so there's no supplements to pay, and they will get their own room. Alternatively, they will book onto a group tour where there may be a single supplement. I know we do offers throughout the year as well, but that they will pay a single supplement on that basis.
Excellent, excellent. And talking of those single supplements, there is an offer at the moment on the single supplements. So ladies and gentlemen, if you look at the website, you will see that offer with all the details. How can we tell the difference between a solo exclusive tour and a regular Wendy Wu Tours tour? If we're looking at the Wendy Wu Tours brochures that we have here, or indeed on the website, is it clear?
Well, I think it's clear. You could look through the brochures, and on the price panels, you'll see little purple gridded out costings, and those purple holidays are solo exclusive holidays. So you can't miss them basically. On every page there you'll see purple boxes, all exclusive solo departures.
Excellent, excellent. Glenn, if we're new to solo travelling, as I know many of our viewers today, will be new, that they've thought about travelling solo, but it all seems quite daunting and quite scary. If we're not quite sure about which tour option to do, what would you recommend? What's your top tips around this?
Well, I think everywhere that we go is suitable for a solo passenger, and you're part of an escorted tour, so it's an ideal holiday for you. If I was to point out areas that I think we should generally look at, Japan is by far the one to go for. You've got to remember there's been 3 cancelled cherry blossom seasons now, so the pent-up demand for it is absolutely huge. And I was looking at some of the figures yesterday for bookings that have been coming in, and it's nearly all Japan. And with the borders opening very, very shortly, and us being one of the approved operators that can travel to Japan, because you have to be part of an escorted tour, Japan is definitely one to do on the list. Aside from that, Vietnam and Cambodia, very, very popular, and the opportunity to travel on our vessel, the Victoria Mekong. And a great one to look at for solo passengers, it seems very popular, is the Indian tours, especially our take on the Golden Triangle.
Lots of variety, a lot of options, ladies and gentlemen. Glenn, going to ask you, anybody out there, ladies and gentlemen, who are watching, who are thinking, it all sounds good, but I'm just not sure, can I do it? Is it for me? What would your final piece of advice be to our ladies and gentlemen?
I would say give us a ring and we can talk you through the process. I think the biggest obstacle for some solo travellers is actually making that first call or that first approach to actually go on holiday. But believe me, when you do it, you will come back again and again and again and take your holiday with us.
Fantastic. Thank you, Glenn. That's been really insightful. I'm sure you'll agree, ladies and gentlemen. Lots covered there. So now, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear from one of our solo travellers who has just returned, literally just returned from touring with us a few weeks ago.
I've been very fortunate that I've had 2 long tours already with Wendy Wu, 4 weeks in China and 4 weeks in South America, both on my own, and they were absolutely fantastic, to the extent that I almost don't want to travel with any other company now, because I just feel everything is so well organised, from the initial booking to getting safely back to England. The guides are superb. The range of activity suits me perfectly. So there's some history, some geography, quite a lot about the culture of the area, the opportunity to try things, whether it's dance, music, cooking. Every day brings a new delight, really. And I do feel so well looked after. If there's any sort of problem, like in the run-up to this trip, I was worried about COVID and what would happen if I tested positive, what would happen if I had to isolate. And the logistics department answered all my queries immediately and was so reassuring and made me feel confident that people would help me every inch of the way. And that has been the case, actually. It's been marvellous to be so well looked after. I love that the meals are included, so I don't need to start wandering around at night on my own trying to find somewhere for dinner in a strange area. I love it that all the entries are included, so there's not this big debate about should I, shan't I. how much is it going to cost, how much money do I need to take with me. I've hardly spent anything, to be honest, just incidental expenditure. So I think the value for money, which is not my main priority, but it is also extremely good.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard all about travelling solo with Wendy Wu Tours today on today's show. But what does it really look like on tour? Well, we are now taking you over to Japan on our Japan Uncovered tour, which happens to be Wendy Wu Tours' most popular tour of Japan. And here to guide us through Japan, it's Sandra Foreman. Sandra.
Thank you, Andy, and hello everyone. Andy and Glenn have talked to you about the appeal of travelling solo with Wendy Wu Tours, but what does that mean in terms of your actual tour? I'd like to illustrate this to you using one of our most popular tours, Japan Uncovered. Now, Japan Uncovered is one of our most extensive tours, and it includes all of the classical sites, the key cultural activities, featuring the modern cities, the historical sites, and the beautiful landscapes. This tour ensures that you get the most out of your trip to this fascinating land. You can really get an understanding of the history, the culture of this incredible destination, making this a hot ticket for travel at Wendy Wu Tours. Japan Uncovered is absolutely packed with fun, immersive experiences that make travelling solo with us so sociable. So you will get to try your hand at the age-old practice of washi paper making. You'll tickle your taste buds together at a wasabi farm. You'll join a traditional tea ceremony and enjoy a hot dip in a traditional onsen, and even get to roar on sumo wrestlers. All great fun and guaranteed to break the ice with your fellow travellers. You are accompanied throughout your tour with one of our award-winning national escorts. Their unparalleled knowledge, enthusiasm and attention to the very tiniest detail will make your holiday something truly memorable as you get an understanding of the history and the culture of the incredible destinations. Glenn mentioned the sociable aspect of dining on our tours, and Japan is a perfect example. Japanese cuisine is delicious, it's colourful and healthy also, and our schedule of meals on Japan Uncovered is designed so that you can experience the local dishes, their individual flavours, as well as the different ways they are prepared and cooked throughout Japan. Food is an important element of Japanese culture, and you will get to really experience it on this tour. We'll begin this tour by flying into Osaka, where you'll spend your first 2 nights. We'll visit Osaka Castle, one of Japan's most famous castles, which it's known for its sweeping views of the city from the hilltop perch. Osaka itself is known for having some of the best food in all of Japan, and especially famous for their okonomiyaki, which is a giant savoury pancake. Also, we'll try the street food, which is very classic in this area, such as the takoyaki. And this is a pancake batter cooked in special moulds and typically filled with diced octopus, pickled ginger and spring onions. Osaka is also fantastic as a base to do a day trip, and from here we'll head to Nara and stroll through the famous deer park. And Nara is a small history-filled city that was Japan's first capital, and here we'll admire the temples and the beautiful gardens. And after a good night's sleep and rest, it's time to move on to explore that magnificent 17th century Himeji Castle and the neighbouring Kokoen, a traditional style garden, as well as travelling en route to Hiroshima. Now, Himeji Castle is widely considered Japan's most magnificent castle for its imposing size and beauty. The well-preserved Himeji Castle is both a national and a World Heritage listed treasure. Our next 2-night stay will be in Hiroshima, a vibrant and wealthy, forward-looking metropolis. Hiroshima is best known for the first city in the world to feel the power of the atomic bomb during World War II, emerging from the ashes a cosmopolitan and peaceful place, and sites of historical heritage that were destroyed by the atomic bomb have been reconstructed, and the only building that remained was the A Dome. And this is where you'll visit the Hiroshima Peace Memorial Park, which commemorates the events of 1945. We'll now take the famous bullet train from Hiroshima Station to Kyoto. And on your Wendy Woo tour, everything is taken care of for you. You really don't have to worry about anything. Your tickets are booked, your luggage is transported on by minivan to the hotel. All you need to do is enjoy the experience. And with passengers on board the train, these trains are reaching 200 miles per hour. So again, another fantastic talking point, and it's so exciting as you're experiencing so much on these tours. And now it's time to move on to Kyoto, which was the capital for thousands of years and the emperor's residence from 794 to 1868. And this is an enchanting city. It is the epitome of traditional Japan. It's got the culture, the history, the heart of the city. It's the best place in all of Japan to experience some of those traditional temples, including a visit to the stunning Kinkakuji temple known as the Golden Pavilion. The gardens are wonderful. You'll see the geisha girls, the shops, great to visit. The restaurants again, fantastic with festivals. And it remains Japan's ancient capital. And you'll see the geishas can be wandering in the streets in this area in their traditional dress. And there was believed to be 80,000 geishas across Japan up until 1920. But now there's only around 1,000 geishas in the whole of Japan, and about 100 of those are located in Kyoto. We'll also visit the spectacular Kiyomizu Temple, exploring the most visited temple in Japan. It was built to honour Kannon, the god of mercy, and it's on a beautiful hilltop location offering spectacular views of the valley below. And later in the day, you'll experience that age-old ritual that I talked about earlier, the traditional tea ceremony accompanied by the tea master, which is just great, such fun experiences. We now leave Kyoto and travel to Kanazawa, and you will meander through the Kenro-kuen, one of the 3 great gardens of Japan. And its spacious grounds used to be the outer gardens to Kanazawa Castle, and these opened to the public in 1871. And they're featuring a variety of flowering trees, and they provide the garden with a different look for each passing season. If you love your gardens, this will be certainly one of the sites top of your list to see. And then we'll try our hand at the washi paper making, and this is great fun for all of the tour group. You'll get involved as this is a hands-on workshop. And on to Takayama for 2 nights, where we'll visit the Shirakawaga, a UNESCO World Heritage Site known for its unusual architectural style known as gasho, and you'll learn all about this with our guides. Takayama boasts one of Japan's most atmospheric townscapes, nestled deep within the stunning Hida Mountains, and this is a wonderful destination for witnessing the older and the ancient side of Japan. We'll visit the morning market in Miyawaga, occurring every morning. There's a number of stalls selling fruit, vegetables, local crafts, workshop, local food. So again, another great fun place to explore. We'll travel to Nagano for 2 nights, exploring the formidable 16th century Matsumoto Castle, where we'll visit that miso house I talked about earlier, and we'll learn about the wasabi on the farm. And deeper into the Japanese Alps, you'll find the Japanese macaques, also known as snow monkeys, and these are at the Monkey Park, which offers a unique experience of seeing the wild monkeys bathing and playing in their natural hot springs. They're brilliant to watch as they go about their daily business, and this is a sure talking point with your fellow travellers. And then at 3,776 metres high stands Mount Fuji, the highest of Japan's mountains and an iconic symbol of the country. Fantastic views, something never to be forgotten on this incredible journey through Japan. Lots of photo opportunities with the friends you'll have now made on your tour. You'll cruise on the peaceful waters of Lake Ashi. Next saw the high Hakawan ropeway over the hilltops for spectacular views of Mount Fuji, and you'll discover the dramatic natural hot springs of the Mount Hakawan. And finally, we'll travel to Tokyo, one of the world's most cutting-edge capital cities, with so much to see here, which is why we spend 3 days. Tokyo blends the ultimate futuristic cityscape of sawn glass towers and neon with tranquil pockets of history. It is a city of contrast, famous for the neon-lit landscapes, the towering skyscrapers, peaceful shrines and lovingly tended gardens. It's got the ancient, the mystical, unique, and you'll find plenty of tranquil back streets and old temples to explore with your group and in the company of our guides. And whilst in Tokyo, we'll stroll the vibrant Asakura district, and I love this area, the ambience to soak up in Sensoji, Tokyo's oldest temple, dating back to the 1400s. And Sensoji is the only example of 2 religions sharing the same temple complex, with a Buddhist temple and a Shinto shrine. Continue onwards, and it's time to experience the 634-metre high sky tree. This is the tallest structure in Japan and the tallest tower in the world, and some of the views you will see from the observation deck are nothing more than spectacular. And in the evening, you'll board a traditional yukata boat for a farewell dinner cruise. And you will have some, again, amazing cuisine, such a variety of that Japanese wonderful cuisine that you can use your chopsticks to eat, and certainly enjoy this final farewell dinner with your tour group, who I am sure you will now consider your friends.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm joined now by 2 of our VIP solo passengers to find out exactly what it's like travelling solo with Wendy Wu Tours. Zoe, great to see you today, and Louise, great to see you too.
You all right?
Hi, yeah.
Thanks for joining us on this our special travel show today. We've heard lots today in today's travel show about travelling solo, but we want to find out what it's really like travelling solo on a Wendy Wu Tours solo tour. Louise, I'm going to start with you. I know you're a big advocate of travelling solo with Wendy Wu Tours. And Wendy Wu Tours have got a great track record of running tours for, coming up to 25 years now. What does that experience and reputation mean to you as a solo traveller?
I think obviously it means anything and everything when you're travelling alone. I think from the point of obviously booking the tour, you know exactly what you've got to do, everything's mapped out, you've got your itinerary, and then obviously everything just comes all together in your pack and you just have to go and get to the airport, and at the other end you're met by someone and the adventure begins. So it's a great way to travel. I mean, it's the best way to travel as well, because you've got that peace of mind that everything is taken care of.
Is that the same? Would you agree with that?
Completely.
Yeah.
I think peace of mind is the key phrase, particularly if it's your first time traveling solo. There's a lot of trepidation, nervousness, and that's perfectly normal. You are going to feel nervous, but if you can eliminate the things that feel overwhelming, like the itinerary, food, destination, all that, if it's taken care of, you get peace of mind, and then you can just relax and enjoy.
So, I mean, just looking at that kind of reputation and kind of profile, is that something that you both sort of consciously looked for?
I think obviously more so than ever before with what's happened with regards to the pandemic and travel. You've got to look at obviously being looked after and experiencing the whole trip without thinking, where am I going? What's it going to be like? What's the transportation going to be like when I get there? So I think you've got to iron out everything that you're taking into consideration. And I don't know if you feel exactly the same, but we are completely looked after from start to finish. Whether that be on arrival, during the day, the whole itinerary and what we've got to do, where we've got to be at certain times. We're at the forefront of everything you do, so that's the reason I travel.
Oh, good. We'll look at this a little bit more in more detail later. But so I'm going to ask you, I mean, why would a solo traveller specifically benefit from travelling with Wendy Wu Tours?
I think my perception of solo travel initially was either schlepping around on a camel in the desert or in a hostel, clutching your backpack thinking I'm going to be robbed. If you wanted to eliminate all of that and it's your first time solo traveling, it's the perfect hybrid, I would say. So you can go away, peace of mind, you can socialize with people if you want to, you can stay in your room if you want to, all your meals are taken care of. So it's that introductory to solo travel, and once you've done one, I promise you'll do more, because it's just such a great experience. You can socialize, also you get lots of options that you can dip in and out of, whereas if you were totally on your own, all those things you'd have to think about.
I think there's a lot of things we would potentially miss out on as well if we didn't have an itinerary to follow, especially with the destinations that you go to. Obviously, a lot of it isn't just the key points where you would think about going. We obviously go to places where I wouldn't venture, potentially alone. So you do give us a full insight of the place that we've chosen, and you would see things that you didn't even know existed.
Yeah, so I think it's a first time solo traveller. I would highly recommend it, because it makes it so easy, and you can become more adventurous.
Yes.
But you're going to really key destinations: Vietnam, China, Japan, Sri Lanka. I mean, it's not like you're going to Europe, although you could do that if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But you can be adventurous in safety.
Yeah.
Thank you. Interesting you talk about all the destinations, because that is key here, that there are so many destinations to choose from. So how important is destination choice and the depth of the itinerary when choosing a solo tour?
It was the key deciding factor for me, and that outweighed the cost. So, of course, if you go on an organised tour, it's going to be slightly more expensive than if you were sort of completely doing it alone. But the destination and the really detailed itinerary was an absolute, yep, I'm doing it.
I think when you factor everything in as well, in terms of wherever we come from in the UK, so obviously flight, then transfers, then we get there, the level of hotel that we stay in, the meals that's included, the transportation while we're there, the entry fees into the places that we visit. if you broke that down, then in theory it is worthwhile.
So worthwhile.
There's
Worth
no,
every
I
penny.
don't think I would be able to put half of that together if you sat on the internet and thought, right, I need a flight, and then need a transfer, and then need accommodation, and then you're fighting against, have I got enough time in this place? Will I miss out on something? It is busy. It's a jam-packed itinerary, but I wouldn't have it any other way, really.
No, and I think that sort of meticulous planning takes so much time. Even when you're there and you're traveling, you still have to be forward thinking, right? When am I going to eat? When am I going to turn up? Then I have to check into the hotel. Whereas what you're doing is sort of compressing time, aren't you? With
You would waste a lot of time if you try to do
much
it yourself.
Yeah.
And there is sometimes wherever we go, there could be a language barrier and things like that, which again, what you don't want to do is ruin the experience because you've tried to do it yourself and then you've ended up being a little bit fearful of thinking, right, I shouldn't be here, but I am here. Now how do I get where I need to be? So that's another thing where you don't want your trip ruined because you can't relax and enjoy it.
We heard a lot in the show earlier about Wendy Wu Tours offering fully inclusive tours, which of course includes all the meals and all the dining. Is this really important to you as a solo traveller?
I think I've just obviously touched on that briefly. I think it is so really worthwhile what you put together in terms of obviously like breakfast potentially in the morning if we've got a long day ahead, then we're all together at lunchtime, and then again you've got maybe an afternoon where we're out and about. It's good that we're all together in one place, because I think if you didn't offer maybe a lunch like point or a meeting out at lunch and we had free time, then if we all didn't gather at the same point at a specific time, we could miss out on the afternoon trip. So therefore you're not wasting any time. Yeah, you could go off and do something on your own if you didn't want to stay for lunch, but ultimately you don't want to then think, oh well, we're going to be late here because we potentially could be waiting for people who have gone off on their own. And it's not to say you can't, but what we get as a package is very well put together.
I mean, I dipped in and out of meals, so I didn't take every opportunity. Some I mean, I was working as well, so some evenings I just went back to my hotel room. I ordered room service. So don't think that just because there's food that you've got to eat. And I think, being in a couple, maybe it's going out for dinner, it's on your own. You've got that option.
Yeah, sometimes you want your own space, and obviously we do travel obviously alone, and there is a time where you want some alone time, but you're more than happy to muck in, and everyone, there's great camaraderie. You find out so much more about everyone, what they do, where they've been. That gives you ideas as well, thinking, oh, well, I've never thought about going there, but obviously I've heard that. So you get as much time together as you do if you want to be by yourself.
Really important. That's a very good point, actually. And I'm going to touch now, something that is always a key talking point, ladies and gentlemen, with the touring experience, is the tour managers. So, I'm going to ask, about your experiences with the tour managers and also the group size as well.
So the first tour I did with Wendy Wu was Vietnam and Cambodia. So because it was split, we had obviously a tour guide in Vietnam and then a tour guide in Cambodia. And then obviously Peru, we had one. They're from the area, it's their country. They're very proud to have you there as a visitor. They want to tell you everything there is to know about their country, food, places to visit, culture. Their knowledge is priceless. So when you're aware, and if anything happened, or if you wanted to just ask them to go off on you by yourself, or we want to go here, they would be fully knowledgeable, and you'd feel fine. The part of the group, aren't they? The part of that little family for your holiday, and they're as part of us as we're a part of them, and for them to see us enjoy ourselves is great, I think. There was probably 13 the first trip I did, then there was 16 on this one, so it was a nice size. It was good. We were like little sheep, all huddled together, so it was a lovely little group, on both of them.
Ladies, final piece of advice for ladies and gentlemen watching at home that thinking, this all sounds good. It's okay for them to be able to do this, but I'm just not sure that I'm really can do it. What would you say? What's your advice to our viewers at home?
I think anything that you try first, you will always have a little bit of fear. I won't even begin to say that you don't, but if you think about it too much, you will probably talk yourself out of it. But with what you guys do, I don't really think there's any reason for anyone to be apprehensive or not try it, because everything's mapped out and tailored for this. There's no reason not to enjoy it, really, is there?
I would say, having been stuck at home for 3 years and the opportunity not to travel, we're now really feeling the desire to go off and do something interesting. And Wendy Woo is that bridge to an interesting, really unique, meticulously planned experience.
Even places you would never think about going. You guys, on your own, you guys do. And then I think when you read, if it's, 2 places or 1 or 3, you probably may not have thought, I would like to go there. But then I think when you read what you offer and where you go and what you do, you think, I never thought about going there, but I will now.
Yeah. And I had no issues with my group.
No.
I mean, I had lovely people.
We were great. We really had a good time.
So,
because I've heard also that people, make friends on these.
Oh, you do,
and, friends for life.
Really
you do,
lovely
you do.
people. And also because you're together for quite a concentrated period of time. So again, I wonder if you were completely solo, you just wouldn't have that opportunity. You might meet someone in a restaurant. We were in one of our hotels. There was a girl traveling through, and we met her for an evening, and then she went off. And we were sort of saying, actually, it's really nice that we've had this bonding experience, because you're forced to be together and kind of look after each other, eat together. So,
because we're all probably at different stages as well in our lives, where some of us will have travelled extensively over the years, where some of us may not have gone as far as where you guys go. So that experience shared gives a lot of people when they come back, because I think that is when you come back and you get that feeling of back off holiday, right? And now you're in a bit of a lull, because you think this time yesterday or this time last week we were doing this. It then gets them cogs turning and think, right, okay, so I've heard about this part of the world, I'm gonna go. And then you just end up getting the bug, don't you? And you just fall
and I
back
have to say, I went up to the north, up to the tea plantations, and the train journey, one of the best experiences of my life. It was beautiful.
Yeah, we did one in Peru where we when we were on a train.
Sounds quite life-changing as well.
Oh, it was, yeah. And I just thought, my gosh, I could die here and I'd be happy,
Because you don't think it exists, do you, until you see it?
Yeah.
You can see pictures, and pictures do tell a story, but being in that picture and being part of it is just something else, really.
Fantastic. Ladies, thank you so much. This has been really insightful. And ladies and gentlemen at home, I'm sure you've enjoyed this in terms of hearing what it is actually like travelling solo. So, as you heard Zoe and Louise today, time is now to do it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been fantastic to see you today, and thank you for taking the time to join us on this our very special Wendy Woo Tours Travelling Solo Travel Show. And now we're coming to the Travel Lounge. Yes, this is the VIP Travel Lounge. You'll see a button on your screen. Just click on that screen and you'll be taken into our Travel Lounge. Now this, ladies and gentlemen, is your opportunity to ask anything about traveling with Wendy Woo Tours and traveling solo with Wendy Woo Tours. Our solo travel experts are just waiting to meet with you and can't wait to talk to you today. Plus, of course, we'll be joined by our 2 VIP solo travellers who you saw earlier in today's show. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been fantastic. I'll see you now in the Travel Lounge.
We found Wendy Woo to be spot on from start to finish, with all the actual interactions from the booking to the preparation for the trip to arriving at the airport. It's been painless and faultless. Wendy Woo, they really do look after you.
I've been on other tours before, and yeah, Wendy Woo definitely includes sort of a lot more, makes it a lot easier.
I liked the idea of what Wendy Woo offered. They have an excellent reputation. So I looked at a number of other tour companies, but Wendy Woo seemed to be the best.
Everything being included is really important. It makes it very, very easy, and you don't have to worry.
I just felt confident that that Wendy Woo would know, the best places to go and the best things to do, and it's proved so far on the trip. It's proved correct.
I've been really impressed with not only right from the start when I rang up to book. The staff in the office were really helpful, just kind of organising things and making sure that we got all the right paperwork in.
Our national escort was Lily. Lily's been fantastic, so full of energy and so helpful. She calls us Lily's family. She's always referring to us as Lily's family, and I think she's really helped us actually bond as a group, which made the whole trip much more enjoyable.
The Great Wall was extraordinary. It genuinely brought tears to my eyes, looking out and seeing, understanding the history, and just seeing how it was built in inhospitable terrain across the mountain ridges. It was awe-inspiring.
Wendy Woo staff, the local guides, our national guide Lily, they've been more than helpful on many occasions, and they have done absolutely everything they can to ensure that we've had the trip of a lifetime.
I hugged a panda, which was an amazing experience and one that I will never forget.
I recommend Wendy Woo Tour to everybody, and tell them that if they want to go to China, nobody better than Wendy Woo Tour.
I will recommend Wendy Woo. It's been a terrific experience with them. I've been very pleased.
Oh, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
I'd recommend it to people that want to go on an adventure and visit somewhere they'd probably only see once, but to see the authenticity rather than just the tourist highlights that you could see on the internet.
I will certainly recommend Wendy Woo tours when I go back to England. In fact, I'm sure we'll be going on more Wendy Woo tours because we want to go to Vietnam and other places and see Wendy Woo do those tours. So we'll certainly be booking again with Wendy Woo.